Show everyone your Frisbee. Show everyone your Frisbee. Oh, that's so exciting. Hi everyone, welcome back to my garden and welcome back to my not so shady secret shade garden. So we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes in gardening. This was a big mistake. This is the north side of my house. It's my side yard. And I had big plans for this garden. I was super excited about it. And I had assumed that it was a shade garden because it's on the north side of my house and because I have all these trees up here. My automatic thought was that it was going to be totally shady. And so over the year, I planted a whole bunch of shade plants, and over the year, I came to realize it is not as shady as I thought it was. Now, over here by the house, it's pretty darn shady. It gets some morning sun and it gets some evening sun as the sun is coming up and going down, but it's pretty shady for most of the day. So everything's been okay here. I have some heuchera, I have some false hydrangea vine, I have some camellias, I have some hydrangeas and pots over there that are doing really well. So everything over here on this side is pretty good. Everything over here on this side is not good. So it's about 7:30 in the morning right now. So you can see kind of where the sun is. And this side, the side that's closest to the house, is getting a little bit of morning sun. But it's okay with that. This side is not getting any morning sun. It looks like it's full shade. Don't let that fool you because it's absolutely not full shade. Absolutely not. So you can see my lion fountain over here. I love this fountain. It's beautiful. I gotta unclog some of the tubes right there. But on either side, I have planted Shadowland Diamond Lake hostas, which are technically part to full shade. So I thought that they would be fine here. They're obviously not fine here. So I'm planning to dig these up today, and I'm probably going to transplant them over here just for now. These get about 4 feet wide, so they're big hostas. And I know where I want to put them. Eventually I want to put them over by the chicken coop underneath my Chinese pistache tree, but that garden bed is not ready. It needs to be amended with some compost and stuff like that. So just for the time being, I think I'm just going to move them over here, and I have some other fun things to plant on either side of the lion fountain. Now you can see what is thriving over here, and that is my Surefire white begonia. And this plant, you guys, I can't say enough good stuff about this plant. It thrives in sun, it thrives in shade, it thrives in garden beds that I don't even know what to call it. So if you ever have a trouble garden bed, and by trouble I mean a garden bed where you're not quite sure whether it's sun or shade, this is such a fabulous plant to plant. So I'm going to be leaving this. I think technically it's a zone 10, but I've had Surefire Rose last for me as a temperennial, absolutely no problem. So I'm pretty confident this is going to last for me. So I'm going to kind of work around that. Hidden behind here is a very sad peony. Look at that poor thing. First of all, it's getting taken over by the Surefire white. But the other thing about this garden bed that I did not realize is that this tree right here is a black walnut. And one of the plants that are super sensitive to the jugalone, which is a chemical that's secreted by the black walnut, is peonies. So this is just about the worst spot that I could have planted this peony. So I know peonies don't really like to be moved. This peony absolutely needs to be moved 100%. So I want to get that done today as well. I also have a lot of Jack Frost Brunnera that some of it just up and died, and some is like kind of holding on. So I'm going to try and transplant those today as well, just to see what I can do. You can see my Japanese Pyrrhus. I never can say that one right. It's totally dead. I just killed this guy. I feel so bad because it was such a beautiful plant. I'll put a picture of it right now. It was just so gorgeous, and I just did some damage to it. So basically, I just want to kind of clean everything up. I do have on either side of the fountain. I do have some more of the Niagara Falls switchgrass or panicum. I am just in love with this grass right now. It's so pretty, especially this time of year when we have the seed heads like this. Look at how pretty that is. So I thought on either side, I think it gets 4x4, on either side of the fountain, that will be a really pretty look to kind of flank it. And it'll handle the sun that it gets over on that side. And then also, ornamental grasses are one of the plants that can handle black walnut. So any type of ornamental grass you basically can put under a black walnut and it's going to be perfectly happy. So that's why I decided on those. I think that will look pretty. I think it'll kind of frame the lion fountain really well as opposed to these poor hostas. Man, I had so many plans for this garden bed. I was planning to plant a whole bunch of hydrangeas over here, and I'm so glad I didn't do that because they would have fried. So that's okay. Lesson learned. I just kind of have to adjust. Instead of being a secret shade garden, maybe this just can be a secret garden. I don't know. We'll see. But at least today, I just want to try and get this cleaned up. So let's get going. Do you want some of this? You want it? You're welcome. You're welcome. You want more? So one thing about living next to goats, it's never boring. All right, so let me give you an update of what I have done so far this morning. So I took out my hostas, the 2 hostas that were right here. I actually transplanted them over to my Vigo garden beds. I'll show you that in a minute. But I really do like the Niagara Falls panicum right here. Those are going to get up. They're going to get about 4 by 4. And I think that they're going to kind of just surround the lion fountain. I think it'll look really pretty. You can see how much I cleaned out over here. Monty is loving the goats these days. They're waiting for more and sneezing at me. So I cut back the Jack Frost Brunnera, but now that I'm like looking at the sun, it's about 8:30 right now. I just got to move those guys. They're just, I don't know. This is such a hard garden bed for me. So I cut back those. I cut back some of them over here. I moved the peony that was right here. It was like not even rooted in at all. That's the cool thing about this, is that all this stuff I just planted this spring. So nothing was really rooted in. So, I mean, no harm, no foul, other than kind of a waste of my time for planting and now replanting, but that's all right. One thing I was thinking as I was looking at the Niagara Falls next to the white begonia is possible moon garden over here. I had it stuck in my mind that I wanted this to be my secret shade garden, and I'm struggling on what else I'm going to do with this area now that it's not a shade garden. I mean, that's a shade garden. This is not a shade garden. So I just got to kind of figure it out. And I was thinking, well, maybe all whites and silvery colors. So I did have this marshmallow Shasta daisy ready to go. I have a couple of them. These are so pretty. Aren't they gorgeous? So I've planted the regular daisy May Shasta daisy and the banana cream too, which is like this creamy yellow Shasta daisy color. But this one, isn't that I mean, it kind of looks like a mum, I would say. It's really, really pretty. So this will get about 20 inches tall and about 24 inches, 2 feet wide. So I thought maybe I would plant them here because I'll be super happy with all the sun. And then maybe I could go for a white theme. I'm saying maybe because I really haven't decided yet. I was so stuck on a shade garden and now I have to completely change my plans. So I think I'll get those planted. I did want to show you all something else I wanted to do over here. So like I was saying, this is the black walnut. Very, very annoying with the chemicals it secretes. But I have planted grasses underneath here and coneflower, which are 2 that are supposed to be really good for it. Another plant that's supposed to be really good for underneath black walnut is daylilies. So I did get a couple of these primal scream, which I just think are beautiful. You all know how much I'm loving a little pops of orange in the garden. And so I did want to get my hands on these. So I finally got my hands on 4 of them. They're really interesting. They're a little bit taller than normal daylilies, so you kind of want to put them in the mid to the back of a garden bed. But the flowers, they're orange and they're kind of ruffly, and they're called primal scream because they're basically screaming for attention, which I just thought was so cute. So in this garden bed, it's just color. It's color upon color upon color, and so I do have some orange over here in these hot and cold Niphotheas there and there. But then a lot of purples and a lot of pinks. So I think kind of a pop of orange back here will be great. And again, it's going to be able to handle the jugalone that the black willow secretes. So it's a really good choice for right there. So I think I'm going to get those planted there. And then I'm also going to get those Shasta daisies planted over there. right, so I got the Daylillies and the Shasta daisies planted. That was relatively easy. Let me show you what I got in the ground. All right, so don't mind the pathway. I got to get that all blown off and cleaned up. But here are the marshmallow Shasta daisies. They're so cute. I love them. So the minimum spacing for these is 20 inches and the maximum is 22 inches. So they're they're pretty compact, as in they grow to a very predetermined size. So I love plants like that because then I can take out my handy dandy tape measure and know exactly where they're going to be. So 20 inches, the minimum spacing is for them to just be touching. So you can see these are just going to be touching. These are just going to be touching. 22 inches is when there'll be a slight space in between each one. I personally like my plants touching. I like them to look like big swaths of one plant, kind of like this mini-me chartreuse. Look at this thing, you guys. This is called mini-me. Mini-me, just as a warning. It's not quite mini-me, but you can see I planted them all together and they kind of look like one big plant. So then coming over here, by the way, look how good this looks. With the Niagara Falls grasses here, with the Russian sage back there, with the pink crystal ruby grass right there. It's just looking really pretty. Don't look at the fence. The fence looks terrible. We'll get to that. So then over here, there's not much to look at. You'll just have to use your imagination. But the Primal Scream Daylily, it's going to be really, really pretty. I'm going to put the stats on the screen right now because I'm just forgetting it. But they're a little bit closer. I know it was 18 inches apart. So I did those 18 inches and I put them behind the Russian sage. And this orchard, Best for the West garden, it's almost turning into a purple and orange garden because that lately has been my absolute favorite color combination. So once the Primal Screams bloom next year with the Russian sage, it's going to be that gorgeous purple and orange color combination that I'm just absolutely in love with. So the last thing I want to get done today is I want to sow some seeds for the cool flower method. It is time for me to sow my seeds. Actually, I'm going to be honest, I'm late. I'm totally late. I've gotten some of them sown. I've got my foxglove sown and my hollyhock sown, but I'm a little late, like on snapdragons and such. And I feel bad because I meant to remind you all watching that it's time to sow seeds for the cool flower method. If this is the first time you're hearing about the cool flower method, I recommend stopping this video and immediately going and looking up the cool flower method because it's such a wonderful method for growing cut flowers. It's basically fall sowing hardy annuals. So you fall sow cut flowers that can handle your winter. You plant them out about 4 to 6 weeks before your first frost, not your last frost, your first frost. So my first frost is December 4th. So about 5 weeks before that is Halloween. I always think about Halloween as the time that I plant out my cool flowers. And so when you count back from that, you look on the back of your seed packet, you see how long it takes to grow seeds and have them ready to be planted out. And that's when you need to be starting your seeds. So I definitely need to be starting my seeds now. I'm going to be starting Rudbeckia, Scabiosa, Delphinium, my snapdragons, which I should have started a couple weeks ago, but that's okay. And just all the things that I'm going to be planting out around Halloween. So that's for me, for my personal first frost, but you got to look it up and kind of do the calculations for your first frost and figure it out. And then you get all your seeds planted in the fall, so you don't have to worry about it in the spring. You can do other things. 2, they're spending all winter growing out their root system. So they're going to be really big and really robust and really healthy. And then 3, the minute it starts getting warm, they start blooming. So you get super, super early flowers in the spring. So I just love this method. It's so fantastic. The hardest thing is reminding myself to start the seeds because it's the last thing I'm thinking about right now. So I'm going to head back to my seed starting station / potting station, and I'm going to get going on starting some seeds. Okay, so let me take you all back to my seed starting area. First, I wanted to show you Jason's cleaning up over here. Doesn't that look nice? And then in these Vigo beds, these back 2 Vigo beds, and these are the ones that I've been using as kind of like my holding area. You can see I put the peony right here. I have the hosta. I put another hosta there and another hosta there. And I'm just kind of holding a bunch of stuff in this bed and this bed until This garden bed is ready to be planted. I started planting things in and I hit hard pan and it was just, the soil was just absolutely terrible. So I decided to just kind of stop what I was doing, not plant anything else until I could get a good 6 inches of compost in here to start amending the soil. And just as a reminder, I am going to have a pathway from here all the way over to the chicken coop and then planting on either side. And I think that that should be really nice. You guys want to say hi to the chickens? What you girls doing? What you doing right there, huh? Aren't they getting big? Oh my gosh. So Princess Fluffy Butt, Maisie, and Hazel. They're so cute. Still not laying eggs yet, but a lot of you said that I need to wait a lot longer. I had always heard it was about 18 to 20 weeks that they would start laying eggs, but a lot of people told me that for the silkies, it's closer to a year, which is crazy. Hi, girls. I don't have any treats for you right now. Sorry. No treats. Okay, back over here. This is my dirty potting area, which I love. I think I've told you guys how much I love this area because you can just make a total mess and not worry about it. So like if I am potting something up or if I'm doing seed starting, I can just kind of brush everything off over here and then hose off this table and then I'm clean, which has been really, really useful. So I'm shocked how often I've used this space, but I'm really, really enjoying it. So here's my seed starting tray. Again, these are from Bootstrap. Those are the ones that I'm liking this year. I have bigger ones that I can pot up if I need to. I haven't really, I guess I've used these a little. I think I use these for sunflowers, but I'm mostly using these 6 cell trays. And then here are the cool flowers that I'm doing for now. I still have more that I'm doing again in about a couple weeks. So some from Johnny's and then some from Swallowtail Seed Company. So I have light blue with white bee delphinium. That one's going to be so beautiful. Madame Butterfly Rose Snapdragon. Last year I did so many Snapdragons. I kind of overdid it on Snapdragons. So I pared it down to just my 2 favorite. This one and Madame Butterfly Ivory. If you're going to grow one Snapdragon, I think it should be this one because it basically goes with everything. Like you can put it with absolutely any bouquet and it'll look beautiful. And then the rose is just a really, really pretty color. And I love Madame Butterfly. This one is a new one for me, but I'm excited to try. It's Starflower Scabiosa. This is the one that you let dry and then it has that pretty star like hexagonal shape to it. So this is pretty much for dried flowers, which I'm interested to see how that goes. And then I have a couple Rudbeckia from Swallowtail Seed Company. I have Prairie Sun, which is a classic. I love it. I have some over here. Let me show you. Isn't that beautiful? Again, if you were just going to grow one Rudbeckia, I would definitely say Prairie Sun for sure. And then 2 that I haven't grown before. This is Cherry Brandy Rudbeckia and then Caramel Mixed Rudbeckia, which both look really pretty and I'm excited to try. And then another Scabiosa that I haven't tried. Robbie is obsessed with the Black Knight Scabiosa and that one is absolutely beautiful. I have that one over here. So these I did with the cool flower. You can see they need to be deadheaded, but they're still blooming, you guys. They're still going strong. I can still cut flowers off of these which is why I've left them. But that's Black Knight Scabiosa. I am trying Merlot Scabiosa to see how it does and to see the color of it. So I'll let you all know for that. So I'm just going to get these all sown and then under the grow lights, which are in my office right over there. And you can see I have another tray all ready to go. these under the light. And I'm also going to use a humidity dome. Let's see. Just to keep them nice and moist. The one thing though is I am going to take the delphinium blue out because delphinium likes darkness to germinate. So I'm actually going to put that under some type of cover. I don't know what yet. So here's the seeds I just sowed. I did 2 trays each of the Madame Butterfly Snapdragons and 2 trays of the Prairie Sun Rudbeckia, and then 1 tray of each, so 6 of each. Here's my Dalmatian Peach Foxglove that's looking good. I gotta thin it out a little bit. And then some hollyhocks that are looking good as well. So the delphinium, you don't want it to have light because actually the darkness is what causes the germination, as opposed to all of these, lightness aids in germination. This is the only one that darkness aids in germination. So I actually think I'm just gonna put it in one of these drawers, which I know sounds funny, but I don't have anything in these drawers. And I'll just check it every day. And as soon as they've all germinated, then I'll go ahead and I will, I'll put it back under the lights. And then here's some more hollyhocks. You can see how I water them. I just bottom water right here, and then I kind of just switch them back and forth between the trays. Makes it really easy. So these go, I can't do it holding the camera. Those go right there. All right, so I've got my cool flowers sown. I still have some more to do in a couple weeks, mainly sweet peas. That's the main one. I definitely want to up my sweet pea game this year for sure. Did I do any this year? I think I did some when I threw the seeds into the ground, but that's pretty much it. So I really want to up my sweet pea game this year. So I'm going to be working on that. We have a very big week coming up because we have our shade trees being delivered in a couple days. And it's just that time of year where things start to get busy again. We have kind of a lull during the end of summer because it's just way too hot. And I kind of like that lull. It gives me kind of a breather, kind of a rest a little bit. And then we're right back into fall planting. Fall is so good for planting trees and shrubs and perennials and transplanting and starting seeds. It's a busy season. It's really, really fun. And I really like it because it's planning for the next season, which makes it even more fun. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today.